What's up? What's up? It's your boy Big Vern here at the Studios. App like you got some sense. Smash the like and subscribe button. If you see all of the socials at the bottom, feel free to follow us on those platforms. And if you want to fund the madness directly, then you can go ahead and donate to us at Cash App $Burn Dollars. That's Cash App $Burn Dollars. Busy day here in the studio. Yesterday was like, I don't know, my head was like 360 like The Exorcist. For a lot of you people who are young enough and may not know what The Exorcist, the original, was, that's pretty much how everything was going here in the studio for me. And with me and the guys, they know there are certain stories I don't want to cover, and I'm forced to cover that one. I'm forced to do it this one time. So we got a bunch of stories. The ever so soap opera called Alabama Football. We got super duper senior Mr. Cam McCormick. He said he's coming back to Miami for his 9th college football season. I just know. Then we got the former Washington Wizards here, Mr. Ryan Rollins, a guy who's making $1.2 million, decides to start shoplifting from Target. And he was doing that before he got chauffeured out of the league. Jerry Jones still trying to spin Mike McCarthy and why he thinks that Mike McCarthy, after an embarrassing loss and getting trounced in the playoffs, is a good thing. And Ohio State, they're going to Ryan Day has decided to hire Bill O'Brien. So the Bill O'Brien Patriot scam just keeps rolling along. So yeah, all of that to cover and much more to come. So we're going to get into that. We're going to start with Alabama right after we come back from a quick 20-second break from an unofficial sponsor of the show. BK, have it your way. Try the Whopper or any signature Whopper series. I'm sure they're delightful. Stop in at your local Burger King. Go visit those good folks or download the app. Order online. BK, have it your way. So we'll start in Alabama. And Alabama has done themselves no favors. Let's just be honest. What started out as a dominant year forecasted in college athletics, having the number 2 overall recruiting class out of 24/7 sports, got Nick Saban coming back, retooling. I mean, they just made the college playoffs out of, I wouldn't say out of nowhere, just unknown to the public. He retires. The Tuscaloosa Times, they start floating around different guys to take over for Nick Saban. And you get names like Dabo Swinney. You get names like the guy out of, forget offhand, the guy out of Oregon. They wanted him. I mean, you had some very prominent names. They had a top 5. Out of nowhere, they hire Mr. DeBoer. And that whole thing seemed to be weird. And it only got worse and worse and worse for the Crimson Tide, which prompted me to ask this question. Alabama has become a hot mess of hot messes. Will a new DB coach help fix that? And the answer is undeniably hell no. But it's worth a discussion. So the one guy you can see in the graphic in the blue shirt, his name is Maurice Linguist. Now, Maurice, he's the coach. Well, he was the coach of Buffalo. Buffalo, not Bills, not the Bills. Buffalo University. And Buffalo University, he had a record compiled of 14-23. Now, I don't know if that is a good enough resume to get you hired anywhere to do anything. And his most accomplished season, he was 7-6 back in 2022 when they went to the Camellia Bowl. Camellia. There are so many meaningless bowl games, it makes no sense. I mean, you take away bowl games and you put all of those teams in these meaningless bowls into a bracket. It's the same thing as having a playoff. But the main guys, they don't play until after. They don't play until after the holidays. So do what you will with that. However, when they made the move to bring him in to Alabama, it really threw me for a loop because it threw me for a loop because I'm looking at a 14-23 record and I'm just like, this is Alabama. I mean, they get the best of the coaches, head coaches who got fired in previous stops. I mean, at one point on staff, Nick Saban had Kirby Smart, who's now at Georgia. He had Lane Kiffin, who's now at Ole Miss. And he had Steve Sarkisian, who is now at Texas. It was a who's who of guys on that college staff. And some of those guys who were on that staff, Cignetti and some others, they're now at Indiana by way of James Madison. So looking at Indiana, I feel more hopeful and more promised because they have a high-flying offense, but it's principled Alabama defense. Flip side, reverse. Alabama has a Tom Allen offense. And I know it looks good in the old man winter Pac-12, but the Pac-12 has been dissolved by the Big Ten. But that's not enough in the SEC. That's not enough in the SEC. Now, the reason that they went after Linguist is that he's a Dallas native. He's a Baylor alum. He's got deep recruiting ties in that state. That was the play that they were looking at, however. But now that Steve Sarkisian has resurrected the Texas program, and Texas A&M is hopeful about their new coach, I don't think the Dallas area is going to pay dividends. I don't think that bringing Lindquist on is going to move the needle one way or the other. I just don't. And we'll get into that and more crazy things and bad things happening to the program when we come back from another unofficial 20-second break from another unofficial sponsor of the show. Yes, KFC, original or crispy, 11 herbs and spices, and family meal at home meal. Get a $9 big box or a $20 fill-up box. KFC, 11 herbs and spices. Visit the good folks down at the KFC or download the app, order online. So back to this mysterious hire of Maurice Linguist. And we covered that he is a Dallas native. So he's, like I said, he's been a Dallas native, Baylor alum. He's got deep recruiting ties in the state. Also, In 2020, he was with the Dallas Cowboys as a defensive backs coach, the DB's position. He's also coached at Mississippi State. He's also coached at Minnesota, Iowa State, and Illinois. And Baylor. So he coached his alma mater. He coached at Minnesota. He also coached in the pros. But I don't think that's enough. And even though his position right now in the Alabama coaching staff hasn't been verified, he's probably more than likely going to end up the DB coach, because that's where he was. Now, it's a benefit for them that he has some pro experience when he comes to the staff. And like I said, it's not saying that it's gonna implode on itself and it's gonna explode. Not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that this just isn't enough. Now, the reason that they went after him was to actually stop the bleeding on one end, because since they announced DeBoer being the new head coach of Alabama, DBs have started to flee the program. And they want to kind of solidify them getting that defensive presence back on the field. And that's why they go ahead and they bring in Maurice Linguist. And just like I said of him, and I said of Womack, there's just not a large enough sample size. These guys have a 500 at best, or a game or two above 500 posted as a win. And that's just not enough in Alabama. So I know Alabama fans are pissed. Then again, where there's smoke, there's fire. Julian Sand, the Alabama recruit and one of the nation's top 2024 quarterback prospects, he went ahead and hit the transfer portal. This guy is one of the number one quarterback prospects, according to 24/7 Sport. You know, he's entering the portal. I mean, he was in Carlsbad, California. He was in that area. They went and got him. This guy was handpicked by Nick Saban. Think about that. This is a quarterback that's been handpicked by Nick Saban to lead the Alabama Tide. The Crimson Tide, he's going to lead the Crimson Tide to a national championship. Nick Saban retires. DeBoer is bringing in his own guy. And this kid just like, no, I'm not going to sit behind somebody I'm better than. The move comes one day after Alabama received a commitment from the transfer Austin Mack, a promising young quarterback prospect who was recruited by new Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer to Washington's quarterback future. Now, Mack is originally in the class of 2024, but reclassified to the 2023 class and spent the fall with the Huskies. So it looked like he broke the deal anyway to bring in another kid over the top of Julian Sand. And I know they make a lot about Dylan Rolenia going to Nebraska, but this kid Julian Sand, he's out on the market now. And if you're a college program that is struggling at quarterback, here's another highly touted prospect who can turn around that program. There's been so many missteps, so many miscues. It's just a bunch of hot messes. But let me know what you think. Alabama, people transferring, leaving a program with a DeBoer hire that didn't move the needle one way or the other. DeBoer goes out and hires Kane Womack. They work together at Indiana. They bring in Maurice Lundquist out of Buffalo University to stop the bleeding at the DB position. Not to mention your quarterback, handpicked by Nick Saban himself, has opted out to leave. And now you have a guy who was going to Washington to work with DeBoer personally, and he felt like he should have gotten that shot, and rightfully so. Austin Mack looks like he's going to be the quarterback for the Crimson Tide 2024, 2025. Yep. I mean, have you seen a program fall so fast in 2 months? Just a month ago, we covered it on this program. Alabama just reloads. Now, I mean, there's so much going on. Who knows? As always, share, like, and subscribe to these videos. This is Big Vern, and I'm out.